It is the year 2025, and this chat room is home to, like tens of people right now. But this VOD is going on the internet where it'll be seen by millions. At the core of this campaign's territory, it is a golden age. But outside of this newly won utopia, the revolutionary project continues because we're still making these episodes. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tears of Divinity Fading Chronicle here on Neon Lights Roleplay. I am Turk, or Turk Accented. I bet you knew that already. And we have a little something different for y'all tonight. Instead of, fighting the good fight in the Mud and Blood of the Lancer system, I figured with us taking a temporary break due to some player absences, we're gonna go ahead and do some really great stuff and do some Q&A reflections, provided of course from y'all in the chat. I've written down some myself, but I've got two fantastic people here with me, as you see on your screens. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, starting of course with Philadelphia's finest.
Gang, how you feeling? It's Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite Fox Philly's finest. Happy to reprise my role as the intrepid young, or not as young, Ensign Reggie Draws, who's having a time, but we'll get to that next episode. For right now, I'm doing great and talking with my friends about this great game that I'm in.
And then, of course, over to Game Mommy Horror Daddy, the ever perplexing in the best way possible, Meg Mysteria.
Hello, I am Meg, and/or Meg Mysteria, and typically I play our Lieutenant, Elena. Wow, I almost said Dracos. We are not playing that game. We are not playing Jump City Sirens. Elena Victore, because we are playing Tears of Divinity tonight. I love this game. I do. But yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for questions.
All right. So we've got a bunch in the Discord thing, graciously provided by Beep It to Peer. But if at any point you want, you can of course, shoot it into the chat here on Twitch. Put it in the Neon Lights Roleplay chat. If you're not already part of the Discord, please join that Discord because it's a great time, and you get to ask questions more directly to us, or DM us if you have that capability. That all being said, why don't we just take it right off the top of one of the questions, because this is a really great way to recap what's kind of recently happened in some lights, and then some stuff that kind of started us off at the season, or maybe kind of end capped our last season, by asking my cast here, what's the biggest sacrifice your character has made? If anyone wants to start.
Meg, why don't you go for it first, huh?
Oh, buddy. This one, I was sitting here thinking about it because I was like, I don't think Elena has really sacrificed much in the way of like material possession or even like personal relationship, unless you want to count Leon, who has now left, but that was of his own accord. She didn't really sacrifice him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this gets a little bit deeper, because in the sense of from a very young age, she kind of sacrificed her sense of individual identity, because she, after her brother decided he was not going to follow through with the military like their father wanted him to do, things got really heated in their household. And to kind of quiet things down and keep the peace, she stepped up and decided to say, hey, I'll take that spot. Chill the fuck out. So her entire identity became heritage. and legacy and carrying that title forward. So whatever she may have wanted to do at a younger age, that disappeared.
Damn.
I feel like we've definitely seen a lot of that with Elena. Like, there has been this big struggle that we're kind of seeing Elena come out of, with reclaiming that personal individuality since being physically cut off of the family. And I think you've done a fantastic job with that. I've told you, I think we've all told you post show in our debriefs that you've done a great job, really portraying that journey and kind of literally as a character coming into your own. And I think naturally with you reconnecting with your brother, it'll be very interesting to see what the two Vittores get up to in the future, because oh boy, shenanigans I am sure will ensue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like you're, especially now, we're really gonna like starting to like actually see that break its way into the canon now that we've actually had that interaction between Elena and her brother. And I know like behind the scenes you were like waiting for that for so long, so it's super cool to like not only like to see that happening now, but now to know that like, we can kind of start working on like seeing that backstory, because like outside of knowing that Elena's a Victoria and got put into the military because of that, we haven't really gotten to see a lot of like what got her there. So I'm excited about that more.
Yeah, and we'll see if when Brendan shows back up. But I like this. I like the siblings and the interaction that they've had so far. So
there's plenty of possibility with having your own ship and being under a vague union protocol, or at the very least having someone willing to run cover for you.
Yes, sir. This is my government do what the fuck I want license.
I mean,
this is my permission slip. It says I do what I want.
this is my government fuck you, I don't care license, sir. You can read the fine print right there.
Basically what a Lancer, what a pilot license is anyway. But FoXXii, what has Reiji sacrificed?
Motherfucker, what hasn't he got? It's like, are we serious?
What's the biggest one?
I think especially right now, obviously the simple answer is, my boy lost his best friend. Like, he had to let go of the person who has been pushing him forward the most, the voice in his corner, the hand over his shoulder. So I still, as a player, don't know what Reiji looks like without Virtue. So the physical answer is that, obviously. But I think deeper than that, especially in the aftermath of last episode and with, like, other things we can't talk about here because you and I talked about them, behind the scenes. I feel like Reiji has sacrificed the word I'm going to use is choice, but I don't mean that he's not going to get to decide his own actions anymore. I think I just mean that he has sacrificed whatever parts of him see other paths outside of the one he's on. He is singularly focused from now on one single thing. Kill everything that calls itself a god in this fucking galaxy. And when that's done, I don't know.
Woe be to all the gaming streamers out there who, in a moment of brief hubris, say, I'm a god at this game, as the entire Union battle cruiser.
It's Reiji draws is inbound to your location right now.
It's just forget about getting swatted. Someone's gonna report that, hey, this person thinks they're a god at fucking Uno. And it's just like
real shit.
You will become the, hey, I'm Goku. I heard you're really strong.
Exactly.
I heard you're a god.
That's great.
No, it's obviously, I think the the fight with the blip. I can kind of speak to this a little bit. I knew what I wanted from that fight going in. Like I've known what that character is going to represent from the kind of inception of this campaign arc, but I never wanted to be like, oh, but it's really hard. Don't fight him. You know, I showed that. I think I poster boarded the blip is scary, deadly, without having to put like a. Just so you know, you're entering an advanced enemy area. You might not want to go back and level up somewhere. You know, like because that would feel artificial and constraining, and that's absolutely not what this campaign is about, especially post getting out of the books. But at the same time, I didn't want to just be a wipe. Losing virtue is unironic. Is something we have talked about in the past, and so it wasn't like a complete out of the blue, because that would be, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, and it was funny because I feel like the hit really came because previously, prior to like us starting up this season, me talking about losing virtue was talking about mechanically where I wanted my build to go and if I wanted to move away from the Acatus or not, because I felt like that mech is very tied to the narrative of Virtue and Reiji and the Forge and what that's all doing to them. And I'm like, okay, if I want to singularly focus on this, I want to keep I want to keep Tuahanga. But if we're moving into something else, then I want to, angle the story in that way. And after talking with the cast, I mean, Meg, you were there for this, briefly talking with Berman and the rest, I decided hey, my current build is good mechanically. I like it mechanically. So I was settled on like, okay, I'm no longer worried about the story arc of possibly losing Virtue. I'm not going to ask Turk to do that. But the moment you set that fight in front of us, the moment you gave us the like half stat block for the blip, and the moment I realized the only way we could get away from that fight if we were trapped was to pop Pseudo Vault and get the fuck out of there, I knew for a fact either we were winning that fight by the skin of our fucking teeth or I was losing Virtue. There was no in between. And I think the moment that happened, it made me think like, okay, now I really have to put myself mentally through what does Reiji look like now? What's happening in his brain and in his heart? And it's been, I mean, you know more than anybody else that I've been really airing myself through that mentally a lot. So just massive props to for putting that together.
Thank you. A little behind the scenes, I did actually have some plans for everybody in that fight if they went down, how that situation would provide a kind of ripcord. Some more gracefully than others. I think you took the most graceful exit of the three, because that, because of the abilities that have been established and the mechanics. The other situations would have been interesting, but I think given the role you have played into and the role and what everyone else was doing, I think it just had to play out that way. So yeah, episode 9, Interior Hell Dawn. It's one to watch if you are a fan of some really high level NPC interactions, some funky mechanics, and actually leads me to one of the questions that I wrote down. I'm going to jump over this list here because across both series now, I've had a lot of fights, but I'm interested if you guys can point out any that were your favorites mechanically and a favorite narratively. And I mean mechanically, like you really like the setup, you feel like you really did well. Narratively, just like you think the scenario was interesting, because I have my own personal picks, I think.
I'll go first this time since you went first last time, if that's cool. Easy answers for me on both of these. And actually, funnily enough, although they both come from last season, as much as I fucking adore every fight we've had this season so far, most fun mechanically was second to last fight of Frozen Rain, the one where we had to stop the giants from making their way through the map and had to like hold them up. That fight was so intense and so fun, and so many things went wrong at the same time that we just had to work our way through. Like, the giants were the least scary part of that encounter. Like, Sekhmet went awry, Meg fucking blew up, I died but didn't die. Like, everything went wrong in that encounter, but it was so fun mechanically to, like, realize what we had to do there. And I think about that combat a lot. In fact, a one-shot that I've run on the channel was actually based on a similar sit rep that I took from thinking about that encounter, actually. So, credits to you there for this huge encounter. Narratively, I think it was the fight we had with the split fight with Bjarki, where Reiji 1v1 Bjarki outside of Mex while the group did a separate encounter. I've never seen split combat done so well. Like, I was edge of my seat, just like watching my friends struggle through a combat that I knew I couldn't help with because of my own choices. And like, I appreciate how well you made me feel that. Not even to mention how fun that fight with Bjarki was, and for it to begin the long spiral down whatever the fuck is happening with Rage's chronology right now. Like, I think about that fight so often.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. I think for me personally, that was a big growing point in like getting the mechanics nailed down a lot better. I think it also was kind of the end of the Hornet spam in my brain. So
fucking Hornets.
I think that was the last time I mass deployed Hornets. Meg, do you have one or?
I am racking my brain because I'm like, because there was, I think we've said like consistently like major props for you is that you've grown and experimented and grown and done different things like as we progressed through this whole thing, and each one has been nailed like successfully. So each new mechanic has just been a pleasure to just go through with you. I think my favorite like mechanic wise was, I think it was the fight we were dealing with when we were first getting onto Crane, when we were dealing with all the lines and the artillery.
Oh my god, that fucking combat!
I was going to bring up the in my little notes here the asteroid interception squad with the scouts, the vector, 2 reavers and a scourer here. Yeah,
I think that one was my favorite mechanically. Narratively, it has to be either the one with I think narratively it ends up being the blip.
That's fair.
That one's probably it's the blip and followed closely by the fight you brought up with the Sentinels. FoXXii.
Yeah.
It's I have to agree. One of my favorites mechanically to run as of late, where I was like really having fun looking at some, in my mind, less used stuff, was the asteroid interception squad. Because y'all made me kind of rearrange my thoughts there. Excuse me. But yeah, being like, okay, yeah, we'll turn in. I was like, oh, let me readjust here, because I had to I was expecting, all right, guns at noon, let's just get down to it. But I really did appreciate the chance to be like, hey, look, y'all won't put yourselves in a worse position and win anyway. I think that's badass as hell. But I had a lot of fun planning out what those enemies could do and their synergies, and I think it kind of gave me that taste for encounter building that I've been, I searched for that now. I definitely, I know the pace. I feel like I know the vibe.
Nah, I like to just to reify what Mega said, and I've told you this before. Like I said, I mentioned it in Discord before. Of like, obviously, no shade or disrespect to Asleep Above Frozen Crown as a module and for like what you did with it, because you took that module that was already really good and fun and had some great work to it and really made it work for us and for what kind of game that we wanted. But I remember saying to you specifically when we wrapped up from when we had our little meeting to like talk about coming back for season 2 and like how to handle that and whatever. I remember telling you like, Turk, I love the way you handled a module. I cannot wait to see what you do when the world is opened up and you can create combats and encounters and stories all on your own with no need to like hold to any other storyline other than what you have in your head. You have proven that so right like a million times over. Like the mastery you have over like the tension and the setting and like each scenario, the way every encounter has been like a puzzle that we've had to like work our brains through and solve while we're RPing and while we're fighting. Like you've tapped Super Saiyan, dude. Like you've gone beyond. You've found Ultra Instinct, man. Like seriously.
That's very kind. That is incredibly kind. And yeah, well, you know, again, it just comes from having players who are willing to give feedback and are willing to have a conversation about what they like and what they don't like, and you know, engaging with the rules and the narrative in equal parts. I think we've found a kind of sweet spot here where we do follow the rules until we don't, right? Like in many ways, like we're kind of finding all the use cases, and I think that's a similar way to how I approach other rule systems. It's let's like, yeah, we have rules until we don't need them, and until we've got the groove of it, and that's been very fun for me. I have to, you know, narratively, I did really, you know, it's a tough contender for me because I also really enjoyed I'm gonna call it. It was the potential fight with Bjarke and Tome that just turned into a Jormungandr fight before y'all fought the Jotun. That was a fantastic situation of y'all literally defusing a bomb of a person by coming at it from the right angles, because there were wrong angles to approach that. There's ways that it's like you start arguing like, oh, but Union is good. Like Bjarke doesn't know that. Bjarke's been in the fucking ice for years. You know, Bjarke doesn't know that it's third com, not secom. You know.
He's also still on my shit list. I'm just saying. I'm like, I still want the hands.
Can I tap on that one as a character moment? Because
absolutely.
that one was a moment for Elena, because she acknowledged that no, Union is kind of a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got that dark history.
She is a product.
You know, it's one of those situations where, like, on the one hand, of course, like Union is trying to spread the golden, the kind of core golden future, but I think that primarily comes through identifying planets that have strategic usage and giving them priority. You know, and it's all kind of preparing for this final war that we see mimicked a lot in our current politics, where like you're only as useful as the resources and products you can output back to the core systems.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was to talk about combat somehow.
Conversation.
Let me see here. Let's go to another one from BP here. Oh gosh. You know, actually, there's one question here that I also had, and I love this because I have it as a two-parter, and I think it's gonna work great here. So, BB's question is, if you could have one decision to redo, what would it be? I had a similar. You could change one decision your character has made over the course of these, the events of the campaign of their life. What is one thing they would change? Like genie in a bottle, meta vaulting, temporal static. You got one chance to rewrite the timeline. What do you do?
This is a tough one.
It's tough.
Difficult one.
I think, yeah, it's. I think y'all have made a variety of choices, but they've led to some good and some bad down the way. So,
I think right now in Reggie's brain, I almost wonder if there's a small part of him that would redo whatever decision got him put on this squad. Not because of the people he's like here with, and not because of his like the way he used to feel where it's like I don't even want to be here, but it's now that he's like been put in command of the squad and have to deal with all these things and handled loss in this way. I think it's the idea of like, are we sure fate didn't make the wrong call? Like, maybe it shouldn't be me who's here. Maybe if I had done one other thing differently, someone else more capable would be the one in charge of fixing whatever this fucking mess is. Maybe this mess wouldn't be the case in the first place if someone else that wasn't me was here. And I don't think he's public about that feeling, but I think it simmers in the back of his brain a lot.
I really like this. I really like this a lot. For two reasons. One is a kind of larger narrative one I won't super touch on, but just like reminder of who y'all talked to in episode 1. It's very clearly like a UIB Gulsim, you know, fucking spook line. Second thing, I guess kind of in the spirit of my first point is like, I did want to introduce tension into the group, but I also think this was a very like natural growth of everyone's characters that is kind of being explored. Like, I think in some series you see this sort of like chain of command. It just it's rigid. It never moves. You know, people grumble, gripe, whatever, and you know, maybe a character climbs up it over time, and you know, oh, they get a final like, oh, we salute the rank, not the man, kind of thing, like Band of Brothers. And you get a little final fuck you to Captain Sobel. But I think here the kind of liquidity that is possible in the future and what we've seen, I like it a lot, because I will say this, I never want anyone to feel like they have to occupy one role. You know, like they have to be the person making the shot calls. I think that pressure makes people crack in very different, interesting ways. And I think that is being explored as we're seeing it through our characters. I think that's also possibly being explored by outside forces who want to observe and theorize and think in certain ways.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's my answer. Is there's a part of Reggie that if he could redo one thing, it would be whatever single thing would get someone that's not him put in this place.
That's rough too. You got one, Meg? Or is Elena's life too full of
Meg had the realization that Elena would have made much more quickly.
I mean, look, it could literally be like I would have done earlier. That is a decision that you can make. That's perfectly valid to say I would have done this thing a lot earlier, but
Yep. So it kind of comes down to two things. One being both of them being of two different impacts.
not second impact.
Oh no. One option would have been confiscating the nanites as soon as she found out about them.
No! Mine!
As would have been what protocol dictated.
Protocol schmotocol.
The other, again, protocol and not being fucking stupid, would have been not going to the broker.
Listen. I'm hearing a lot of things you take back would be Reiji's problems, and I'm feeling a little attacked in this moment.
Well, you see, Elena made a deal.
Oh, right.
Where
you did
she
do that.
only had to call a member of her family, and she chose to call her mother, who works with highly classified NHP. I forgot a word. Data.
Yeah.
Equipment.
She works
technology.
Yeah. There's Smith Shimano work that probably might be connected to some current family drama that's ongoing.
Exactly. So you know,
I love those guys,
I love how they undoubtedly have
this
enslaved alien substructure.
Yeah. So like. This whole downfall of the Victoria family, you know, could be
your fault.
Stupid decision of one lieutenant who was just trying to get information from a very shady businessman.
So what I'm hearing is we both fucked up.
We really did fuck up.
Okay, cool, got it. Us specifically, actually.
And we're in command.
Yeah,
we're in command.
Like specifically the two of us, actually. Like not even like the squad. It's like specifically me and you, actually.
So follow up to this, because it might be related to what we've literally just discussed. One decision you changed for someone else's character. Both of you.
Externally, I would get Leon to bring his dumb ass back so Elena can stop bitching about it constantly.
She hasn't even bitched about it.
Okay, that was mostly a joke.
It's been under the surface.
It's an undersurface bubbling like all of our other traumas.
Yeah, you know, we're nothing if not subtextual in our passions.
We'll get there. Don't worry. But I think in a more like I would say a less sad sense, but I think this actually is not as sad, or no, it's actually more sad now that I think about it. I feel like it's tough because like I want to say Reiji would want Elena to have like not done whatever thing feels like it's like put so much weight on her from her family, but he doesn't know what that thing is, so he can just be like, oh yeah, I wish you didn't do this because then you'd be fine, idiot. Like that's not how that works, obviously. But I guess in a larger sense, there is a part of him that is in a similar vein to the prior question about like, you know, like taking all this back. Maybe there's a part of him that wishes Sim never crashed on Spar. Like, if there's any way to ensure that Reiji never had any part in this ever, to ensure that like everything had to go differently, it would be that. And obviously he doesn't want to, he can't imagine a life not having her, but maybe that'd be better for her too, because I'll be honest, I think currently at least your boy only thinks his path ends one way.
God damn.
He's having a rough time right now, okay? We talked about this.
Right, this is a very emotionally open situation for I think a lot of characters, which is exactly why we're exploiting it by talking about it.
It's an emotionally open situation for an emotionally stunted man.
That's why we're using the forceps of a Q&A to really, exaggerate and get in there,
This is the most you are ever going to learn about Reiji Draws. Enjoy it, Cass.
Meg, what would you change? You can just say Rising Sun Nanites, and we'd all understand.
Yeah, you can't just say, I wish this fucking dickhead ass didn't fucking take the goddamn Nanites. You can just say that. It's cool. I won't be mad about it.
This is an interesting one. It's an interesting one because I gave an answer for Elena regarding something that she would change for herself.
Mm.
But overall, I think Elena believes that whatever path you are on is kind of predetermined.
Huh.
So she wouldn't change something for someone because that's kind of what's destined for you. And ultimately, the path and the decisions that you made are what brought you here, and you are still present in front of her. So yeah, you really fucked up by taking the nanites. But ultimately, she's got to acknowledge that the nanites are a really big reason why you're alive right now.
And like I can see time. So like, you know, that's kind of cool, right?
Oh yeah, you did reveal that to her, didn't you?
I mean, like we're gonna talk about it some more probably, I imagine. But like, yeah, I could see time. I can see the futures? Question mark.
I'm having visions is a lovely thing to hear. I swear I can see where this is all
Elena
going.
immediately writing the psych recommendation.
Got so high I can see time.
Mm-hmm. I see the flat curve of time. Wibbly wobbly, all that. Okay, we've got a fun
funny
one
you mentioned
here.
talking about like, you know, fate
Nope.
being a thing and getting you where you are, and that
And
I mean, depending on how narrative things go, that might be actually true.
And Turk, I don't know if you saw them, but there are some questions from the Twitch chat and the Discord. And
No, we're actually jumping into one of those right now because we got one from
Cool.
Danny. Oh my
Cool.
goodness. Hi. If your character, because we're gonna do a fun one now. Okay, so we did some serious ones. Let's do a fun one. If your characters were the personification of a mech, what type of mech would they be? How would they behave? So if your character was a mech, what kind of mech would they be? Which is interesting because I think we normally in Lands you sort of see the frame as an extension of your character.
Exactly that.
Quite literally with this. But you know, I guess like if if there is any fundamental differences you think would occur between you as kind of like players combat planning a little bit and fitting into roles versus you know what your character would naturally kind of be if tomorrow it was, you know, suddenly there's a Reiji frame or an Elena frame, you know. Like if you just had to list off like a core power
Yeah.
that your mech
So
would have.
I'm gonna kind of. This feels a little bit weird, but I'm gonna kind of cheek this one a little bit. I feel like, unless Meggy, unless you have an answer already.
I do not, so go forth.
All right, so I'm gonna cheat this one because I've actually been obsessed with this frame recently. If Reiji were a frame, I think he would be incredibly similar to a third-party frame that both of you actually know I've been really looking into a lot recently, the Sobek, which is a third-party frame that, long story short, is one, it's like it's supposed to be in lore made like with biological components, and also, which is like, you know, that's not super important, but the most important thing is that it has an onboard NHP that is meant to be like, the way it reads to me is it's like a shackled dog that occasionally just wakes up and starts snapping and roaring at whatever's around it in this blind, mad anger. And I think that's Reiji, a perfectly focused, dedicated warrior, and certainly a formidable threat, naturally. But there is this burning rage inside of him. And I think for a long while that hole was filled by virtue, especially more literally towards the end in terms of the way that they're consciousnesses were blending somewhat. But I think now that he can literally feel that hole, that the only thing to replace it with is that anger, that burning pit of rage he has inside of him. And I think that's what his a core bonus of his would be like. It's just like he'd be a prolific, decently fast melee frame, kind of like the way everything he pilots is already. But I think his core system would be out of his own control. It would happen randomly, or maybe if it took enough damage, and just like when it happened, he would lose himself. Also, yes, Danny, I'm sorry I took your goofy question and made it sad and serious, but that's my answer.
Oof. I mean, it just works though. To be fair, so
it's a good question, and I feel like it jumped in my brain because I already had that mech in my head.
I mean, hard neck to beat, but yeah.
But I mean,
I think,
and the actual answer is, if you wanted to see what it looks like, with what Reiji draws as a mech looks like, stay tuned for a couple episodes.
it'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
It's fine.
It's not going to be fine at all, friends.
Fine.
It's going to be so far from fine, dudes.
So, Elena,
Yeah, Meg.
faraway striker or I guess artillery technically, or distant support. I guess I don't know how you'd classify. What does the? I'm gonna look this up in my own time. What you?
I think the Pharos counts as artillery. I'm pretty sure it's artillery frame. Maybe artillery controller.
Pharos is a
Okay.
artillery support. Yeah,
Artillery support. There it is.
artillery support. Yeah, and movement abilities usually fall into that.
True.
I don't know much about all the different frames that are available for.
Not to pick one in particular, just kind of a general description of what your vibe would be. Totally fine.
Elena's vibe has always been adaptability. She's fits what role is needed, although she tends to stray more towards, I guess, words. Hello.
Range
Hi.
weaponry.
Combat, not combat. What the fuck? Everything is combat when you're in a goddamn mech.
Hey, not until I release my new system, giant mechs giving hugs.
And towards damage. Damage is the word I was looking for.
Got it.
But the way I'd see like her actual core capability looking like an actual core ability for her looking like is that she would be able to read a field and lock on to whatever was the weakest link, target it, and just tear it apart.
Get that fucking swallowtail on. Pop some fucking recon drones around. Bitch, you got 12 HP. I'm on your ass.
It's it's very interesting you bring this up, because it does, I think, early in Frozen Rain, you were very much playing the artillery sniper role, like long range, blow stuff up, be 2 postal zones away,
and invisible. Don't forget the invisible. There's a lot of that too.
And invisible. I was sneaky. You could not see me.
Only way to stop an invisible mech is to have 2 combats in the same day. That's the lesson I took from Frozen Rain. The Jotun fight was particularly harrowing, in particular because I was like, yeah, there is no brief rest. There is no full repair. Whatever y'all got out of this, you're used. No Nova. But no, it's been interesting to watch you grow into more of a support role and more about, like, still doing damage, of course. Like, still messing up my day, personally. Like, knock on the door. Hello, who is it? Hi, it's me, Meg. I'm here to ruin your combat scenario by exploiting the by
Wait till
just
she gets the
destroying all
fucking
your
Barbarossa
cover
license, nigga.
and
You're about to
moving.
have a really rough day.
No. Foxy
I
introduced me to a new mech, and I can't wait to
Mwah.
it.
there's so many good options to just not let me have fun. No, there's a lot of really good stuff, but it's been interesting to see you move into, as a character into more of a support role as you kind of become the second in command here, and filling that spot. I'm interested to see, you know, as the squad expands with Terran added, what that sort of looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna answer for myself because I like this question a whole lot.
Do it. Tell us.
I am I love myself in any given RPG combat scenario, whatever. If I could like be the person who sits in the middle, gives general buffs in a vibe range, and can just like, I don't need to do a lot of damage, but as long as, you know, my friends are doing better
Got that big
because I'm
salad.
around. I remember I was sitting in the back. I picked up this weird book called Lancer, out of a small little hole-in-the-wall bookstore up in Belfast, Maine. That town is literally just a hill. Like, this was years ago. And you know, Lancer, I didn't have comp, I didn't have anything, but I was just reading this on the way up to Acadia in the back seat of this car, and just scrolling through, and I just saw Big Sal, and I saw it did shields. I saw it like was generally known for just like, hey, this mech is built by the War Crime Company, but everyone loves it, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it does shields, it keeps my friends alive, like some kind of combination of that with maybe some oh gosh, it's one of the newer ones. It literally like has disposable parts. Is that
Gilgamesh? Yes.
Gilgamesh?
I love the
me
Gilgamesh.
Love me some replaceability, like you hit me and it's okay. Like, I think somewhere in between the two of that is exactly my kind of sweet spot personally. When I'm in Lancer, I usually love my controller stuff as well, though. So, I do remember I built some. I built a Mordred build a while ago that was literally just like, hit me, and that was also very fun. Yeah, a lot of really fun third-party stuff. Y'all aren't aware. Let's jump into one more quick question, then why don't we hit a break really fast?
Sounds good to me.
Let's see. These, all the ones that I wrote down are a little long. Okay.
I gotta. There's one from Corn Dog that was pretty short. If you wanted to do that, do a quick one.
Is it the sun sign one?
That one or the other one?
Why don't you hit me with the other one? Because I don't know enough about astrology.
Because the first question Corn Dog asked that I think we actually didn't get to write down. I told you to write it down, but I don't know if you actually wrote it down. Where is it? I just had it. Here it is.
Oh, who is the cutest PC or NPC or to your character or to you?
That's the one. And Elena has to go first.
Oh no.
Because everyone knows what my answer's gonna be. Like, come on.
To be fair, the cuteness angle of this campaign has been heavily PC wise has been dominated by a certain.
If we're looking at specifically cute, by definition cute, it's Sim.
Fair. I can respect that.
But
but I'm hearing a but. There's a but there.
I said the but. It's me. I want the but. Give me the rest of that sentence, because
she's not in a relationship with Sim.
True.
So
you like them older, I hear.
Recently hitting the market.
Sim's also married.
We both think you're hot. We've talked about this.
Alina doesn't know that.
This is truly just going to be one
Look,
giant
Meg,
politics.
I'm saying it out of character right now. We can talk about this. I'm not even joking right now. We can, in character, have this conversation whenever the fuck you want. Reiji is not gonna lie about it.
So if you met Elena, she is so antisocial.
I mean, yeah, like, valid, but like... So? I can't.
So, outside of Sim being the quote-unquote cute angle, to the heart of the question, I think that was intended. I don't know, though. Because you could also say, who is the cutest to you, and just call it done. And again, cute being, you think this character is cute, and you'd enjoy hanging out with them.
I mean, like, on my end, like, the obvious answer is obvious. Not only is Sim the cutest member of the squad objectively, she's also my wife. So, like, objectively correct answer, obviously. But I think separately from that, like, obviously, if we're talking about just cute, like, yeah, I, FoXXii, also think Sim or maybe Tarin is a close, very, very close competition for, like, just very cute, sweet bean. So, like, we got two there. It's a close competition. But, like, I also, as FoXXii, know my type and, like, the kind of women that I'm into. So, like, if I was FoXXii watching this as an anime, I would have an Elena wallpaper that I'd be staring at regularly for absolutely no reason. Like, I'm just gonna be honest about that. Like,
That's fair. That's fair.
like, that's just me keeping it 100. You feel me? Like,
I mean, again, it's hard to argue that Sim is not the cutest PC we have. Just the way that Vermin plays Sim, it is undeniably cute. I think meeting Sim in person would have some horrifying, like, takeaways. As if we were like, if PC was to meet character kind of vibe, like, hey, yeah, hi, I'm very bubbly and cute. Also, my wife is a digital constructed god of math, made of numbers and random flotsam of the internet, and it's implanted in my brain, and will be making passing comments with the other side of my mouth, with my mouth as well. It's like, oh, cute. What have you done?
oh, it's a cute little. Oh God.
Yeah. It's like opening up a. You know what it is? Those, like, Furbies. It's like if you just took the faceplate off of one of those, and it's like, objectively,
Hey,
the cute eyes are
that's my
still
wife
there.
you're talking about.
Of course, and objectively still cute, but like, oh. There was also a question of NPCs as well, which I personally am shocked that Texture Stacks has not entered this conversation.
I think they're great, and we're keeping them. We've been over this already.
I think Texture Stacks is I've had a lot of fun playing them. I have also I to throw my hat in. There's gonna be some ruckus with this one. I think given different circumstances, everyone will get along great with the Sundance Kid.
Nah, fuck him. Nah, fuck him. I mean, like, fully behind the screen, cool ass character, like, super fucking cool character, fucking super fuck with his vibe, obviously. Super cool as hell. But nah, fuck him. But Stacks, listen, Turk, all I'm saying is we've already made between Elena and Stacks and at least a couple other NPCs you've pulled over there. Fucking what was the name of the chick from Yin, the pilot? I'm blanking.
Oh, pilot from
I remember
Yin.
her. I remember her mech's name was like Yinival's Wing or like something like that.
Oh, one second. What
was her name?
There was Annetta about Fredersen.
It's her. It was her.
Call sign Velka. Yeah.
Yes, It was her. Yes. Like, so like between like the like 6 or 7 like NPCs you've thrown in, Elena, and like obviously I already have my wife, and like Talion's like kind of like my adopted little sister, so I'm not gonna go that way. But like, listen, we've already made one IBO reference at this point. Make a second one. I will populate a ship full of my wives. You can't stop me. I will do it. I will find a way to do it.
Hard to argue with that. I think we've look,
So,
there are yeah.
Corndog has clarified player and character.
Well, I answered
Dude,
about 6
player.
different ways.
No, cutest, like player finds cutest,
Who the player finds cutest, not just the character.
I think.
Fair.
Yeah, which I feel I have answered because I don't have a character.
I also clarified again. While I objectively think that Sim is like the cutest in the squad, with Talion clearly tying up a second. If this was me, FoXXii, in my early phase of getting into Gundam and mecha anime, and I found this show or like an anime of this show with a mecha anime, I'd have an Elena wallpaper. It's just what it is. Like, I've already stated it.
I will take it as a compliment.
You absolutely should, because there's no other way to take that.
You don't
I mean, I
have
could take it as weird, but
Yeah, you could.
I'm not gonna take it that way.
You can do both. I'm not stopping you. Live in your truth.
As for my, I guess as a player, I'm gonna say Brendan because I love the Big Brother vibes. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's good.
He's great.
It's a
I
very
love
fun
him.
character to play as well. Gosh, my mind is of course boggling with
Adam,
this.
For
Which-
1 10-minute conversation, and I love him.
He's great. No, he's incredible. I love him. He's a cutie.
Yeah, I think I think Inahara has become kind of group dad, so it doesn't fall into
That's
cute.
my dad.
But
Yeah.
I think I think I also gotta chalk it up. Like, if I had an Inahara as like a work dad sort of thing, I
mentor
would be
figure kind of vibe, right?
like a mentor in my life right now. I would be set. I would be set.
It's Uncle Iroh energy. Like, be the you Captain Inahara thinks you can be. You know?
Exactly. And I look forward to torturing you all with his continued emotional downfall.
I'm sorry.
No.
I, FoXXii, am sorry.
I'm not.
That being said, we're gonna all take a really quick break. I suggest y'all give yourselves a chance to refuel, handle your liquids, as I say otherwise. And we're gonna jump back in. Gosh, does anyone have any preference for what we start next time? Tell you what. Why don't we all have a long-term think about a question we got from Rainey? Who are you most excited to see beat the bricks off of Unival?
Me, nigga, what the fuck? Easy question, done.
Okay. We'll think of that one, and then in addition,
That's getting
then
clipped later.
in addition, why don't we also think we'll also think about character legacy and what you think your character will leave behind.
That's son of a
Because
bitch.
that's a big theme. I will admit.
He called
to
out
this
your call
campaign.
sign. Get fucked. Get emotionally dunked on, dickhead.
That's my mech. Thank you.
It's
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Mech. It is it's a lot of things in this campaign, and so I think starting off there, in addition to the Unival question, will be a lot of fun. So yeah. Anyway, keep it locked right here. We'll be right back. See you soon. FoXXii, take us out of here. Hey there, cowboys. Do you handle that liquid? I don't know.
Why did you say it like that?
I'm the whitest guy in the West. And there's no stopping me in my stupid shit. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Cocktail parties on the back nine.
Turk, please, I'm dying. Oh.
I've lifeguarded for pools that didn't have a bottom. All those memories.
So welcome
Lost.
back, Twitch. Welcome to the Divinity Fading Chronicle. This is the Q&A episode where we're breaking down your questions from the audience. Turk's your host.
Are. Hey, I am the host. I will. We had some questions before we jumped in here into our break, and we're gonna go right back into them. Why don't we start with the quicker one? We'll start first things first here. Who are you most excited about getting the chance to beat the bricks off of Yennefer?
I'll go first because my answer is simple. I don't know if anybody here didn't see last episode, but I quite literally promised to rip her heart out in front of her face and make her watch me eat it as she dies. So me. If there's one person I want to fucking kill Yennefer more than anybody else, it's me. In my mind, Reiji fucking deserves it.
Yeah, there's a laundry list. Meg, do you have one? Is it you? Is it Elena?
No.
Oh, well then I'd love to hear it.
I want to see the battle between Sim and Mimir and Inval in cyberspace.
True.
Is what I want to see.
True. Valid. Nah, that's a good answer.
Sim and Mimir and Prudent Interval.
Right. Because I forgot we have a baby Yennefer around. Oh god, does that mean I have a kid?
We've got the fragment. That's right. We do have the fragment.
Technically speaking, it's a sort of like lizard's tail that will grow into a full lizard, you know? Like how a newt will...
You could not
have
found a worse metaphor, my nigga. That shit.
It's not so much a full child as it is a fragment of the initial piece before the...
Your better metaphor is a worm, because a worm will actually grow an entire new body with brain function.
I've never
That's
seen
just saying. It sounds worse. It sounds worse, but it's technically correct.
Would you still worship this god if it was a worm? No, what we have here is you have the cascading, and this is all this funky shit up here, but we still have the core, the seed. And what you've done is you've reverted a part of Yennefer back to Prudent Interval. And it's broken and it's uncompleted, but we've seen that happen before. Me personally, I mean, I am completely biased, but, you know, Captain Nahara. I think I'm really excited for how he might lay on the some beat down onto Yennefer.
Fucking give me some fleet warfare, baby. I'm here for it.
I know how this is gonna happen. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and yeah.
Sorry, something hit the back of my throat for a moment there.
I think it has only been added to perfectly by the synesthesia that FoXXii and I have established. Our minds mentally linked as far as Lancer campaign ideas go.
We're forming a fleet legion.
And exactly. Find us in the Legion space, see what happens. And the way the story has been guided there, I am very excited to see that continuing a battle, because, I mean, yeah. Anyway, second bigger question was about the legacy. I'll kind of split this into two. The legacy your character hopes to leave behind, and what legacy you think they will leave behind. because that's an idea. That's a little bit tougher to chew on.
Meg, you go first. Typing.
Excuse me?
Go first. I'm typing.
Oh, no.
If you could determine how Elena will be seen in the future, what would you want that to be and what will you think it will be? With your kind of, you don't know what's going to happen, but like, we're all, we all have narrative chops. I've seen it. I've experienced it. We all can write the worst case scenarios for our characters.
Sorry, I know we had the break to think, and I was still thinking, but I think what Elena hopes to uphold was something that was drilled into her growing up that hasn't actually been upheld, but she wants to actually fulfill, which was a lot of like showcasing actual honor and being somebody that people could actually go to and rely on, somebody that could be the one that could make the tough choices and everything would turn out that not necessarily okay, but someone that could be there to help things be as good as they could be. As far as what will be, I'm not sure for her because of where things stand right now. Mainly because right now, the way the Corps sees her and her family, it's not good. So the legacy that she leaves behind very well could be a very negative one because of how people see her and her family. Is she more than just a name? Or is she her? Is she what she represents, or is she representing her family? So it's kind of determinant on how that plays out, I suppose. And again, it circles back around to, I guess, what she hopes to represent is representing herself rather than her family. So will she end up representing that? I don't know. I really don't know, because in her arc right now, it could go either way. She could crumble completely, or she could flourish, which is what I hope for. Yeah. I hope that she will flourish. And I hope that she will find a standalone and that she will come into her own. And she will become everything that she hopes to be. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but
it made a lot of sense.
I think it perfectly captures the kind of crossroads you're at as a character, and I think it really speaks to where you're at with your character and how you're very much evolving with Elena and not wanting to set anything in stone. I mean, I think it's a matter of fact, there's nothing wrong with being like, hey, I want to see where the wind blows. And then see how the dice determine it.
Yeah, I don't know what you have in store. I know that there's things we've talked about and that we've talked about, hey, this is what I want to see for her arc, but how the story actually ends up, then I don't fucking know, and that's the joy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess that makes it my turn then, huh?
It absolutely does.
Okay. I did kind of spend a few minutes cooking on this over break, and I think the legacy of Reiji wants to leave is an incredibly personal one. So much so that I almost don't even want to call it a legacy. I think Reiji wants everyone, ally, enemy, innocents, guilty, otherwise, to remember that he was free. That he made his own choices, that he didn't let anyone oppress him or tell him what he was or where he had to go or who he had to destroy. I think he wants to be remembered as a free voice, regardless of what that looks like. And that's like ignoring the situation that he's in, ignoring like what's happening in the galaxy, ignoring all that stuff, and just focusing in on like him personally, the thing that he wants to be remembered for. In terms of what he will be remembered for, I think no matter what. No, I won't say no matter what. I think if we do it, whether or not it's in this campaign or in the next season after or in 7 seasons from now, if and when we do it, when we defeat Yinival, when we finally bring her down and end whatever threat she's causing, Reiji will be remembered as a beacon of hope, but more than that, a warning. I think he will be a story to the galaxy of the price that had to be paid to kill a god. He's the person that had to bear the burden, that had to go beyond, that had to give up whatever he was and become whatever he is in order to do that. And I think, assuming we get it done, that's the legacy he'll leave behind. Is that you cannot challenge a god without ripping away things that make you human. If that makes any fucking sense.
No. And
it makes sense.
And as terrible
It
as it sounds to add on to that, but it's just another precautionary tale in a galaxy full of people who think they're the exception.
For that.
And I think it's going to be heart-wrenching, and I think it's going to be hard to be your GM and force you to take some parts of your character away that I've really enjoyed. But it's something that will have to happen, right? I play a game with consequence, and
listen, I've been telling you for years now, Turk, hit me harder. Little did I know, your plan was to do it emotionally.
I did the little like slow jab, past the guard here.
Exactly.
So this is actually something that I had down here, like from the start once we decided we were doing this. Do you feel more concerned when you're in a combat situation in this game or when you're in an RP situation? Like the difference of like, oh gosh, we're potentially fighting the blip, or oh gosh, we're out of our mechs on like in this den of crime and villainy, and we're gonna go and like hopefully survive on Crane, with the potentiality of like someone shoots you and that's going right into your 10 HP.
I mean, less so in terms of like literal actual like, oh, I'm worried about like the health of my character, or like I'm worried about my HP bar or my lack of a whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely in terms of like consequence and immediacy, I definitely feel more tension in those out of combat situations, because like, I'll be honest, both out of character and in character, I feel fucking invincible when I'm in that cockpit. Like, throw whatever the fuck you want at me, I will cut it in half. There is nothing you can put in front of me that I won't look down and say, all right, take your fucking best shot. That's just me, and that's also just raging. But when we have those moments where it's like, okay, you gotta say the right things to talk your way out of this. You gotta make the right call to do the right things to get the right information, or else things will turn poorly, not just for like you or even for the people in your squad, but for like the people you are trying to help, you know? Like realizing that the actions you take have immediate consequence that you can't just, well, cut your way through. Like that's, I think, the moments when I personally as a player feel the most like, shit, did I say the right thing? Am I making the right call here? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? Especially because like ultimately so much of those things can come down to either just getting the RP right and hoping you swing things the right way, or if it's a skill check or something like that, it's usually one roll or not. You know, you fuck up that roll, then you failed, and that's where it is. You know, it's not like you get other turns in combat or to stabilize or whatever. So yeah, that's my answer. I think it gets more tense, more concerning when we're outside of our mechs, because I think I have less control then.
I honestly think they both have their own versions of tension, because combat can be extremely dicey, especially when you throw enemies like the blip at us. Now, granted, yes, we did choose to fight the blip. I will not.
That nigga.
I will not. I will.
Next time we see him, he's dead. That's what we'll talk about.
I will not. I will not write off the fact that we did indeed, in fact, choose our own fate for that.
We did kind of walk into that one. It's true.
We made that decision, which could very well fall into, we fucked up our P-wise.
I said this wall has spikes, and y'all said, yeah, but I'll dodge it.
Yeah, but I can jump real high, asshole. Did you think about that?
Pointed a gun at your head and said, I'll dodge it.
But as they both present they both present tension that go into effect at different times. So combat has an immediate consequence. You take an action, the enemy either dodges or reacts. But when it comes to RP, you make a decision and you see the consequences an entire season later.
A little bit.
That was fun for me. I love when I can, write something way back in my little book here, and my little black book, and have something, eke out a bunch of seasons later, a bunch of sessions later.
To stew in it. And go, I know I fucked up. When is it going to happen?
And I think that's only going to continue to occur, unfortunately. I love it too much. I love it far too much to stop doing it, long-term punishment instead of gratification. I love my long-term gratification as well, which will also be, of course, involved. We're going to see. Well, I think in the same ways that it's rewarding to run a combat efficiently, and to kind of fully trounce an enemy and kind of come out of it, but like I barely used any resources. I think it similarly, I want to reward that, like, hey, we came prepared, we shook the right hands, we kissed the right rings, we said the right things to the right people in the right time, and so this next scenario is a breeze, and I want to also reward that. And I think it's going to happen. I think going to Crane first made it interesting because it is such like a feeder for the other two planets. And getting the read on the situation and getting there early and having me think about, like, what does this look like for a bunch of mercenaries to have a system right in their own vicinity be heating up. Who stays, who goes, who signs up, who drinks the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and what does that look like for everybody?
It really set the tone, I feel like it really set the idea of, like, hey, shit is really going down here in this system to a level that, like, even people who ideally should be happy and prosperous when things get heated even they're saying like, oh, maybe we pack up and go. And like, out of character, that to me was like, oh, no, things are fucked here.
Mm-hmm. Not all the rats are leaving the ship, but some of them.
Yep.
Maybe not the biggest ones, but yeah, the ones about your size who should know better
Mm-hmm.
are weighing their options. Let's
And Turk, here's a star for you. I'm gonna give you a star in the middle of our Q&A.
What?
Yes,
Breaking the
yes,
rules.
I am.
Breaking the rules.
I am. So I'm used to being the person that diffuses situations and can talk their way out of things as a character. I fucking struggle in this game.
It's tough.
I can't fucking do it.
I mean,
Especially when this fucking dickhead's in charge.
Yeah.
I've never felt that anybody truly is struggling out there. I think y'all take careful time to think about your actions, of course, which I appreciate. You know, I always want that to be the case. I want people to carefully weigh their options and.
But my point is that it doesn't come naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Is it since I'm used, like I said, I'm used to it. With this, I have to think about it. So you make it a challenge.
I appreciate it greatly. I'll turn it right back around on both of you, and in fact the entire crew. I mean, y'all have made it a challenge for me. There's several moments where I have I kind of had to quickly readjust, spin, pivot, and make characters on the fly, ask myself important, hard-hitting questions about characters and where they stand, what they do, where they're feeling in the moment. And that's because y'all are willing to push buttons I didn't know were in the room. And that comes down to you knowing your characters and knowing what you want out of a scene. And that's come with some massive, incredible moments. And led to some really fascinating, cascading decisions that have elevated NPCs far beyond what I thought they might be. You know, initial, even in, you know, way back season 1, of just like taking these characters and having them become much more rich and impressive and unique to this campaign. And so, I mean, I feel like I say this every time. I'm blessed by the people I have who are willing to explore this space. If you'll allow me to be selfish for a moment. There was a question actually that reminds me of another group of people who I greatly enjoy sharing space with, and it's because in another campaign I run here on Neonet's Roleplay, Oathsworn, obviously the Dragon Lords, I have NPCs run by people who are not directly all the time involved in the campaign, kind of a play-by-post villain, if you will. And there was a question by the ever wonderful, ever seeking to say the word slut corn dog, about if I were to bring that concept into this campaign, what would that, who would I bring in, and I guess kind of by extension, what would that look like? First of all, both of you assume I haven't already done that. Secondly, it's interesting because weirdly enough, with this campaign, I have, because now we're off book, right? We're so clearly off the beaten trail. I just like completely am in control of my own destiny here. Whereas with Oathsworn, I'm kind of working out of a pre set characteristics, and I felt it'd be more interesting to have people occupy those roles and kind of read that and play it as if I was handing you a character sheet. now, I think if I was going to involve somebody, I'd have them be a completely outside third-party faction. And I'd populate that. And I'd love to see what someone would do, given not the input of, hey, here's a character who's extremely powerful in the campaign, play them. But rather, hey, you're giving directives and general objectives for a third-party power player in this scenario, given the massive power fluctuation that has occurred in the galaxy. And I'd love to see that kind of played by people. The funniest thing is, I have this great list of people who I'd love to see occupy villainous spaces in this universe. Unfortunately, they're all my player characters. That being said, I think it would be interesting to kind of create almost a board of other people in the server, and it would just come down to who's interested, who's available, and who is willing to kind of dig in on the lore here. And I mean, we have it. If you've all seen the response that we've gotten to the Mech HQ stuff, I mean, there are people who are willing to dig their fingers into a universe and really like make a character.
Shout out to all my Sable Lions in the chat, by the way. Your captain loves you very much.
So I think doing something similar of like one character, I don't know, tapping a hive mind of people who are interested in kind of like pushing a group around on the board, maybe unbeknownst to the characters, maybe sometimes occasionally cropping up. That would be where I think the sweet spot is with this campaign. I think we need another, maybe even a third or a fourth invisible hand moving things around, not to spoil any surprises I have down the road. A little bit of literal laissez-faire GMing of just like, hey, if y'all have seen the latest episode, here's where the party's at, here's where the universe is at, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, I think I'd love that. That sounds like a lot of fun. There's so much, and there's so many factions and like sub parties and like moving parts that you've placed in this world, that I feel like it's easy to just like assign those tasks and those priorities to other people and to see what their minds make of it. I think that sounds really fun.
I will say, even the best part about this is we can expand this out because Minerva Exodus exists as not only a fantastic short series that y'all should watch, as it's kind of part of the required reading now for this campaign. But it's also a great example of how FoXXii, you kind of like took your experience, said, hey, I understand the general sways, and of course we chatted beyond that, but like the general themes and vibes of the universe that we're creating here. I'm going to run a few scenarios and tell a fantastic fucking story that is going to build in, and it felt very natural. So I think even if we're including like people to include as NPCs, I wouldn't see them as NPCs then. I just say, hey, like if you have a planet or a system or you know something, or just like a team of people who you want to experience the Minerva wave, as you know, fucking I gotta, you know, tip my hat at FoXXii. That was your fucking naming here. Like I cannot claim credit. This is a shared universe. This is an ongoing thing. Feel free to message FoXXii and I, and let's work something out.
And I'll be honest, I want to go so far beyond that, having thought about it for a while. Like obviously, Turk, I know you and I, like we sat down, I was like, hey, how much can I rip open this universe and throw shit in there? And you were like, just have fun, dude. I want to do that with like every plot beat that all of us have given, the way I want to run a mini campaign that involves whatever fucked up scheme the Victoria family has going on in the background, the way I want to run a team of like people who are tracking down the Harrison Armory group that's hunting down Sim, the way there's like so many other small plot beats I just want to see like touched on and explored, like the way each of us is like taken this universe and like the way you, Turk, have let us just push at the edges of a story that already has so much to it and just keep saying yes. There's so many other things that I want to do and ways that I want to bring other people into this world, you know? Like, I mean, hell, both of you have been witness to me talking about a thing I won't reveal just yet, which is something that there's so many ideas that I have in my head that like are ways that I want to bring more people into this this chronicle, like this saga that like you let us create, and that's so fun to me, you know? Like,
it's the benefit of the Lancer system and the lore is that every instance of this universe is entirely unique, and it's always been a goal of mine as a GM to make everyone feel like they are part of a much larger world. You know, you are one story being told of thousands. Perhaps you might be the most important. You know, all of Oathsworn and all of here as well. I think no one can argue that Yall is the most important story of the Sheba system. But in the galaxy, that is, you know, what is one continent to one system to one to a galactic spanning narrative that is constantly shifting and in some almost Chthonian way uncaring about it, as long as the status quo remains largely unchanged, which it has, which I think speaks to the intro that we've had, where it is you know, a frozen pond beginning to ripple, but you know, what does that look like long term?
Yeah.
Makes interesting noise. I've thrown my share of rocks into frozen ponds, but before that metaphor goes too off the rails, why don't we here, I have a question.
Oh, I didn't even we didn't get to hear from Meg on this one.
Oh, we didn't get to hear from Meg. Wait.
I blabbered too much.
What was the question?
So it was about like third party NPCs, like someone else coming in from outside the campaign and influencing stuff. I mean, is that like, oh my gosh, don't touch my poor character?
That one was for Turk specifically, though.
It was for me specifically, to be fair.
Oh, and here I went blabbering anyway.
No, I think you as somebody who has run something in the universe, should absolutely have a voice here. And Meg, of course, I'll always open it to you if you want to run some horror shit. Like somebody's on a look. I think we have talked about a concept for a certain maybe station or something that suddenly has suddenly has a system think they're god or something. I don't know.
Listen, if we want to talk about Keter, then you just have to say so.
About who? What? What happened? What I missed?
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
No, I think if you want to translate that to the Lancer universe and have it be a part of this existing space, I think that would be a fantastic thing. And you just gotta let me know when and where it's happening so I can continue to promote it, because, you know.
We'll talk about it, but for now, I'm happy to let you guys have your space, because this is this is absolutely y'all's universe, and until I come in here with my Victoria legacy and continue to fuck shit up and, you know, cause drama, then, you know.
No, I'm just saying, I pay money to see Meg run some Lancer. I'm just saying, I pay good money for it. I would do it. I don't have good money, but I would find it and I would pay it.
Look, I think the simple matter of the fact is, we've been talking about this behind the scenes. We need more people to run Lancer, and that simply comes from a fact that I think we have so many, at least between Fox and I, we have
Let
so
me
many
run all my
theoretical
concept builds, please. I have so many.
And when you get down to it, hell, like, we probably have between the two of us, we probably have a bunch of combat scenarios that people can just cake. You know, that we're just like, it doesn't really fit right here. It's just like, we could come up with it in the back half of an afternoon. And, you know, let us help you. let's
talk,
talk
folks.
Lancer. Let's do some more
Okay,
shots.
we can talk Lancer. We can talk Lancer.
But
I'm
like
just
for
saying.
real, the rules seem steep, but the truth is your players know everything.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about it.
Unless you're me who questions everything.
That's why we have CompCon. Truly, that's
CompCon!
why we have CompCon. That's why we got
Let's
big ups for the
CompCon!
CC. And we're just gonna keep rolling, and it's gonna be great.
Ask us the question.
Okay, because it's a hard hitting one. I don't know, because we've asked cutest.
Oh,
Which PC or NPC would you hang out with in real life?
All right, I was typing. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So here's the tough thing. 'Cause, like, is it self-centered if I say my own character? Like, is that weird?
I honestly fully expect both of you to be like, I like my character, so.
Because, like, I mean, like,
oh no, my character's a bitch. Fuck her, man.
oh fuck. I mean, fair.
We might watch some movies or something, but
Just quietly from opposite sides of the room.
I think Elena is a great friend to have if you don't if you don't dive in too deep. You don't
satellite friend.
It's a great friend to be like, hey, I'm gonna bring
superficial friend.
superficial friend who you always hang out with in groups, but always at their parents' house. Like, I will say this, as a prep school kid, there's absolute, hi, if anyone finds this, it's not you. Of course it was never you. But, there are some people who is, their parents' house is really nice. And so you kind of let's hang out at your place! And it's like...
Exactly.
Will I talk to you outside of this scenario? Absolutely not. But,
exactly.
in this moment, I'm your best buddy! Hey!
Exactly.
Elena's the friend I would have to show off how cool my friends are, but we wouldn't hang out that often.
Fucking exactly.
The amount of Elena gives off that early 2000s Italian stone kitchen parent vibe. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Like a bit above the Sopranos.
That's so funny.
Like big roof, metal metal tiles on the ceiling kitchen, gorgeous stove in retrospect because you don't recognize it as a young kid.
Oh man.
And it has the carpet has the carpet from floor to ceiling in the basement, and that's where you all hang out. Kind of room where it's we got a TV and it gets really dark in here. Oh, let's all have a bunch of pillows and not. I'm gonna say nothing else.
Dead ass.
Look,
Okay,
we're
real
all
talk.
existed. Anyway, hang out with your NPC or PC.
I would probably pick Stax as my buddy. I love a good nerd. I love a good nerd friend.
Dax plays so many TTRPGs. I just know it in my brain. I know it in my heart. I don't know what particular TTRPGs exist in the Lancer universe, but I know Stax plays so many of them. It's that or Stax is unironically some super high ranked, high elo competitive esports player, but nobody knows about them because they never show up for tournaments because they're working all the time on Sing, and it's just yeah, oh, sorry, yeah, I had a few minutes, so I started around, and it's okay, I'll roll mid, I'll play support even, and it just rolls over everybody. But has sweet bean of a character.
I I mentioned obviously that like I pick Ragey, he's my character, but I think he's also a bit of a prick sometimes when he's not in the right mood. So, like, yeah, I mean, it feels like a double cop out here, but I think my answer might be Sim, as long as no one brings up computers. Because I'm not smart enough. I don't think I have the ability to keep up accurately with the conversation. So
I have a friend exactly like this who works in like code and everything, like coding and all that stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, like we can't play video games because she'll talk about like coding shit that I don't understand. We can't like talk about like anything too seriously political because she'll bring up some like tech thing that I don't understand. We could like watch anime though. Like I'm down with that. We could like get high and watch some anime together. I'd fuck with that. That's about it though.
I feel like I'm gonna cheat here because I got two answers to this. One is half Nelson.
Our boy Phoenix
feels like a solid, like, let's just hit a bar and then like
Hell
debrief.
yeah.
Like Phoenix has some fucking stories.
Oh yeah.
The other one, I think I would love nothing more than to watch a shitty rom-com with Mimir.
You know what? That could be fun.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
I want like a mystery science theater 3000 rolling conversation with all of the group's NHPs. And just like listening to everybody banter and offering our thoughts and like not caring that we're watching some schlocky old film. I think that would be the most fun because the personalities of NHPs are usually so based around a core aspect, right? Like, oh yeah, it'd just be too much fun.
True that.
Should we jump immediately to Lucian's question because I forced a question out of Lucian? And
why not? Let's go ahead and hit him up.
Okay, so this is also good because this feels very much like a BB question. If we were to get to a very large station, which we kind of did at the start, but like, if we were to arrive, let's say in the core systems. At a very large station there, who would get in trouble the fastest? And why would it be Reiji?
Hey!
Okay, that very much depends on context.
Yeah,
and what they would be getting in trouble for.
Yeah.
Because if it's for criminal activity, it would be Reiji. If it was for simply existing... and for rumors, it would be Elena.
That's fair.
I offer you this. Sim is skirting on a razor's edge of a concord that was made between all of humanity and Monsit fucking Ra. That if there's ever any bleed over that line that you currently have, I'll say this as like your GM. Let me say this.
Yeah, I mean, Sim is actively violating one of the first contact accords, so I guess that actually, yeah.
I feel like it because they're occupying a similar mental space. That's not bad. If they ever blended any further, that's where it really becomes difficult, and that's how you end up with a cabin full of nuclear missiles.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like, if we're being perfectly honest about who get in trouble the fastest, Sim would be trying to crack through Union like secure like channels and like back codes. But the moment we get in system, before we even land at station, she'd already be on Omninet trying to crack into some shit. So odds are it's probably her.
That's fair. Galsim does have a running ping, I imagine, on Sim.
He's on so many lists.
Literally the definition of, I hope our names are touching on all the government watch lists.
Listen, all I'm saying is that we all have bounties on us.
It's true.
Oh,
it's also a
absolutely.
reality.
I think of Vittore getting, getting a good photo of Vittore has got to pay a decent chunk of mana in today's union economy, Like,
They have to get through me first.
Gosh, the impulse now to throw just a paparazzi bot into a combat situation and be like,
oh,
hey,
that'd be so fucking good. Do it.
Hey, set up. They have to plant and set their angle, and so if someone else doesn't come to block the way, oh no, I'm writing that one down. That's mean and
Paparazzi bot. I'm killing that thing anyway. No cameras, nigga. No photos.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's gonna be one of those situations, right? Like, ooh, you know what? I know exactly where to fit that as well. I know exactly the planet to be there on.
Oh no. I'm excited and terrified.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's a beautiful, perfect world beyond that. Aside from everything you'll learn about it. Follow-up question to this then. Rather to the question. Oh, well. Okay. So
Did
I guess
Foxy answer?
Yeah, Foxy, did you? Yeah, you answered. Yeah. You said Sim.
Okay.
Be my wife.
Yeah. Sorry. Brain gone.
It's Sim. Yeah, no, you're good.
Having a brain. Couldn't be me.
Tinker agrees.
Yep.
So this is actually a really good recap question because I feel like we haven't discussed our characters' personal weapons in a while outside of combat. Rather in pilot combat, because that is an option that's available when building a pilot. It's a question of evolution. If you could just remind everybody, what does your personal weapon look like, and has that changed at all over the course of the seasons?
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, Reiji began the campaign with a pistol and a survival knife, and I think also some kind of that was it. Yeah, pistol and like a survival knife. Very typical. Like, I've been a scrapper on Spar for most of my life since I got out of prison. This is what I use to keep myself alive if someone gets too close to my cockpit. But right before his fight with Bjarki, where he got his ass handed to him, Elena gifted him a sword. I believe a sword that had some importance to the Victoria family. At least had its emblem or crest on it. Which he's kept, funnily enough, since then, and has been actually training off camera, both with her and also just on his own, to get better at it. And so he's kind of taken to that, using that as his primary melee weapon. Still has the pistol if he ever needs it, but mostly relies on that.
Speaking of Elena
has, for the entirety of the first season and into this one, has utilized it's almost like a commander's sword, and like a sword that's issued to someone once they reach officer's rank. Even though she's I don't remember if lieutenant is an actual officer's rank, but
it is indeed.
So once she hit officer's rank, she was given a officer sword, and it does in fact have the Victoria crest on it. So she has kept that as a personal weapon for her sidearm, and as well as a rifle. But into this season, once she started piloting Origin, she started utilizing a collapsible sniper's rifle.
Fucking marksman's rifle out here, giving him the goddamn. Yeah.
It was very interesting to see that in the tight quarters scenario of the med center.
Yeah, we were fucking kicking ass there. It was great.
Yeah.
I think I envisioned that fight being a lot scarier as y'all fought this kind of working retreat. But y'all just really ruined some people's days. Shocking as it may be. to the based off the history of this campaign, but y'all circumvented my expectations as a GM. Here's the question. What, I'm kind of pulling this from Reddit and combining with the BB question. If you could, only people who really know my character will know the answer to this question. What is the question? It could be a small fact you shared from season 1. It could be something that you've been hinting at very strongly, or a theme that has been coursing through your character this entire time. You've got one up.
Sorry. I do in fact have one, but I'll let Meg
What
go
is
first.
the question that people must know the answer to if they really know your character?
Meg, you want to go first on this one, or should I take it?
You go first, because I'm still pondering.
All right. Okay. So I guess there's two answers here, obviously, because the answer, if it's like, oh, if you've watched the entirety of Frozen Rain, and like all of the other things, which is funny because it's a thing we haven't really dealt with a lot in the narrative, but need to tackle at some point and probably will. I guess the question would be like, who else is thinking about Reiji or has Reiji on the mind? Is a question that you would know if you've been watching the show so far, and I think it's a fun thing that I think it's something he hasn't touched on, and there are reasons that I've been sitting with that hook and trying to decide on what to do with it, and I have some thoughts. Most of them are pushing my character further down his scratch out arc, but we'll get there later some other time. But the much more fun, I guess, answer to this question, or I guess the question that will be answered to this question, is one that hasn't been said on stream, unless you just really know Reiji like that a lot, and I guess there has been some sign of it at least. But I know at least one other person besides me, because we talked about it in DMs, is Reiji a boobs or a butt guy? And I know at least one other person knows the answer to this question. So it's that one. Corn dog with the real answers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll give you some more time to think, Meg, because I got some stuff. I guess I could say in a general campaign sense. If you have been following the campaign and like question, like, if you want to feel accomplished about the campaign and like noticing all the small details, I think obviously remembering season 1 characters is a big thing. Honestly, like, it feels like knowing trivia almost feels small, but like, oh gosh, I didn't wanna I'll say it like this. What was the name of a very important NPC, and why have we seen it? Why have we seen it more than once in places you wouldn't expect this season?
Mm-hmm.
And
hold on, do I even know?
I see. Here's the thing. This is going to be a great thing to look back on, because I guarantee you, I have not gotten a lick of a hint that anybody even has thought about this. And I have been doing something. I have laced in some information And I would be very interested if anyone has caught on to what I'm doing.
You're giving me homework.
Yeah, I don't want to give
To
anyone.
binge watch. Time to binge watch.
Exactly.
It is such an easy detail to overlook. Truly. Like the names of things could pass you by. And I think I've given hints to other things. I think we've gotten very close to realizing some key aspects about some characters involved in the larger plot of this season, based off of interactions and character names. But I think this one, if you've been paying attention, that is something I've been planning since the start of this campaign, to give some nods and winks to. Anyway, what about
I've been
Elena?
thinking about this all fucking night.
The best part
rack
is
my brain for the next week and a half.
Best part is I could literally just be bullshitting right now.
So I'm gonna really love how the 3 different directions we took with this, because my question is, what do you actually care about?
Yo, true.
So, because I don't know if it comes across this way with how I've played Elena, but to me it feels like she's been kind of surface level for the most part, up until we've seen more recently. So,
I like that question a lot.
asking the question of what is it you really care about pays a lot more attention. Is asking a question of, are you really paying attention to what's going on and to the little signs?
It's
All
ass,
right,
by
well-
the way, for the audience, if you were curious. Rage is an ass guy.
I was dying to know myself.
I felt like it was important
I was
that we. I
going
couldn't leave y'all hanging there, you know.
I mean, I was gonna say there's all the homework for y'all to do and make sure you watch all the episodes to figure
People
out.
start scrolling through Art of Sim, like, okay, hold on.
Look, all you need to know, all you need is the little pancake gift we got, and that's it. I'll you know what? We've deprived.
You can't even use the character art that just popped up because it's from the front. Like,
She's
it's
sitting
directly
down.
from the
You
front.
can never know. It's impossible to know.
I'm just posting the pancake gift because pancake gift is great.
It's so good, honestly. It's just it never it never gets old.
If y'all have any particular favorite art, you should let us know, because we'd love to get some stickers or something for y'all. So be sure to, if you got favorite art, you got something you want on a shirt or something, make sure to just let Neon Light Staff in general know. Across campaigns, we've got some great fan art, and if you think like, hey, this should be on a thing, let us know. We're working on that. That's a little mini pitch inside of that. Sorry, side question before I dive back into another one. Does anyone know your character's sun sign? Also / what the importance of that is? Because I don't, and I hesitate to try and venture into that space because of what it might say about me and the characters I choose to talk about.
Well, see, I have the benefit of I always play characters who are mostly me with some tweaks. And so it's mostly just a scare of how Libra to Scorpio all of my characters are, given that I'm a cusp baby. Reiji is definitely slightly more Scorpio than I am. Just more obstinate, more constantly sure of himself, more brazen, like just, very much just like more of an asshole than I feel like I am, even though I'm definitely an asshole. So I think Reiji's sun sign is probably Scorpio.
Elena's a Scorpio, so that explains why they butt heads.
Yep, yeah, actually, wait, that tracks so fucking well. Holy shit. That's so funny. Oh no.
Well,
I mean, I guess it'd be up to Danny and Vermin to let us know exactly what their character signs are. But like, immediate guess, I would actually, funnily enough, put both Tadian and Sim as Gemini, just because most of my best friends are Gemini, apparently, and also my worst enemies. So you're usually one or the other.
well, I'll be honest. I find myself between. I think I'm like Aries rising, Aries midday, whatever. Like
Fucking
mostly
midday.
Aries all the way through. I don't know this stuff. I'm Aries mostly all the way through, but I think like
Singing Moon.
Moon? The moon's involved now?
I'm Aries in the late afternoon.
Wait, what's the moon got to do with it? I thought we were talking about stars. Wait a second. Wait a fucking second. What other cosmological bodies are we going to monopolize on for
Oh
people
my
to...
god, I'm in shambles.
Thanks. No, but it was seriously, what other fucking... Well, Anyway, I'm Aries.
That's right.
By all accounts. And I think a Taurus, one of the other two. Probably Moon, I guess. I don't know. April 17th. But like, I feel like I'm somewhere between the two in regards to the general descriptions you get of those two signs of being like very forward or very like, hey, I'm here to help you. And like, yeah, I have become, ironically enough, by finding a more supportive community, I've become better at personifying the more aggressive star sign that I suppose I occupy, regardless of the position of the sun, throughout the day.
You good over there?
I don't
You
know.
all right?
I don't know. I'm
good,
waiting
man?
for somebody to message me about what cosine told them, okay? Co-star. I'm sure somebody's gonna ping me at some point and be like, oh yeah, by the way, Co-star says you're gonna have an atrocious week, and I'll fucking believe them. Anyway, I have a.
I'm actually just fucking incapable, dude.
Fucking paper plates, you're goddamn right. You take those paper plates over to your little astrology app and you tell me how it vaguely describes your mood.
Wait, low-key, Lucian raises a good point, though, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think other colonies have the same astrology signs, or do they have different ones?
Technically, they'd have different ones.
Right?
Technically, they'd have different
ones. I imagine
ones.
ones that are not too far from Earth probably have similar ones. You probably see similar constellations in the sky. I imagine. I don't know how stars work. I'm not an astrologist.
The stars from different planets are the stars from our own planet are wildly different.
Even as close as like Venus to Earth would have completely different astrology signs.
Well,
the difference between
they got their own shit going on then.
The difference between Earth when the astrological signs were established to today is wildly different.
That is correct. So, our astrology signs are actually completely different from when they originated.
Perhaps the universe is a large, uncaring thing, and you are all immaculate human beings capable of determining your own destinies. I don't know.
I'm still punching
anyway.
God, by the way.
Yeah, of course, you should absolutely punch God. They deserve it. Regardless of the form, gender, species, I don't know, element they take. You could pick a god of not getting punched. Congratulations, they're getting punched.
It's just what? Worst god you could have picked, buddy.
all I gotta hear is the fucking Ultra Instinct. Dun, dun. But yeah, important follow-up question to what I asked before. What NPC PC would you, as a player, as a person, absolutely avoid at all costs or have a terrible time hanging out with?
What if he
I can't even ask you. Fuck, I can't even ask you this question because you don't know astrology.
Look. You let me know, and I know the just hit me with it. Come on, ask me. Look, I'm ready. I'm ready. Look how ready.
Which one?
Look at this. Look at the thing.
I see you.
Look at this fucking hands on hips white guy stance.
I see how fucking ready you are. Let me ask you this: which one of them is a fucking Sagittarius?
The answer is that you did have an enemy mech who was built with horse-like legs, but you didn't fight that mech, and actually, it's very funny you asked this. Because it's the one who attacked the that one clan you wanted to reach out to, and you found the entire entrance to their homeland was snowed in. That would have been the fight.
Didn't Sim also briefly have a Loki, which had like she described as like having?
She did in fact have a Loki.
Loki is but give me 5 seconds. The Sagittarius.
I don't remember the snowed-in bunker though.
You sent
Oh, Phoenix. Phoenix went and investigated it.
You sent Phoenix to go check it out, and if y'all had gone and instead of some other options you had, if y'all had gone to that situation, you would have fought a mech which had a Sagittarian body, and a Centaurian body even. But I will say, Sagittarius being associated with adventure, freedom, and intellectual curiosity.
Kind of feels like a sim vibe, honestly. I was gonna say
that feels like a sim vibe. That feels like a sim. Texture near stacks.
My mom's Sagittarius.
But at the same time, it also could be taken as a sort of unival of like intellectual curiosity and branching out.
He doesn't get one. Fuck her.
The love of exploration is, unfortunately, I think, unironically, I think it's the prudent interval. Is a Sagittarius.
I'll accept that.
Me personally, fuck Sagittarius.
I mean,
fuck those guys. I have bad luck with Sagittarius people.
My mom's a Sagittarius.
Elena probably has bad luck with fire signs, I think.
Tracks.
If we're tracking astrology. If we're tracking astrology.
How dare you? I'd get along with Elena. I probably went to school with Elena.
I don't think she would like you very much, to be honest. I don't think it's.
I mask great.
Fair enough.
I've been to country club. I've been to a fucking polo match. Martha goddamn Stewart. You think that's a joke, but it really happened to me. That's a Turk fact. I was perfect.
She thinks you hang out with her just because she has a cool house, okay?
Wrong. Probably had a crush on her in middle school and high school.
Hey, dibs.
Hey,
oh my God.
I'm not calling dibs on it. I'm speaking from experience. Anyway, what character would you, FoXXii, never want to hang out with?
I want to say, fucking. I feel like the administrator. I don't like his fucking tone. I don't like his fucking tone. I feel like he ended up fighting.
Hawks?
I don't like his tone.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem like a bad dude at all. Like, I'm sure we could be cool, but I couldn't like be around him for longer than like 30 to 40 minutes at a time. I feel like I'd be like, bro, what you say, dog? Like, and like we would fight. Like,
Hawks is all business. It's very Deep Rock Galactic for me. The dude does not take a day off, and really, if we were to explore NPC characters more, his personal life definitely has suffered. Right now it's crisis, which means, people need him to be on all alert, which works perfectly. But if you were to catch him on a random Tuesday, on a more calm time of the year, he'd be absolutely insufferable.
Yep.
I think he benefits from his planet, being on fire.
That makes sense.
It's,
Also, isn't it like always that because of the fucking sun and the radiation?
They normally have solar shielding, which has been shut down as part of the capture of the spaceport.
Oh shit!
But
another reason to get that figured out.
But was one of the potential theories of next big moves you can make that Stax was advocating part of. You take the tower and then modify the satellite array to not just block solar rays, but also incoming transmissions, which would allow for a temporary reestablishment of control over all of the various mechanical pieces that are currently under control of the Lightless Sun due to some reason.
What I'm hearing is we go to the spaceport and we just start killing everybody that's Lightless Sun alive.
Look, I am not. I know what.
Not what I got from. That's not what I got from that.
Really? Maybe it's, I don't know. I feel like that came through clearly as far as what he was saying. That was like his exact words, basically, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Bomb Tower and Spaceport are two separate entities.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So we go to the tower and kill everyone Lightless Sun there.
I mean,
and then repeat that at the spaceport.
That is, that's the thing. You're gonna have to eventually pick one way or the other. If you get to the spaceport, it's probably best to duck out of Sing for a while. If you're really invested in Sing, it's gonna come to the cause of the rest of the system.
I'm not gonna lie, my best friend just died here. I'm kind of fucking tired of this place.
That's why I know
here, man.
That next episode is called Echo Victor Alpha Charlie.
I see what you did there.
You
got
it. And
yeah, I'm gonna evacuate some fucking Lightless Sun assholes from their mortal souls.
Well, without access to the medical center, they're certainly not going to be coming back anytime soon.
Good.
But yeah, gosh, let's do 2 more heavy ones for the road. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Lock in. I'm ready to type out questions.
Okay. Who is someone who played an important role in your life, but you haven't communicated with them in years?
Okay, does it count if I recently communicated with them?
No.
Shit. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
Funny enough, this may or may not influence Foxy. It's actually Janaya.
You can have similar answers.
Can we have the same answer?
You can have the same answer. We could go full behind the scenes here. Truly, if that is the goal, I think Janaya is and will continue to be a very important NPC until changed otherwise character in this story because of the relevance to both Elena and Reiji.
Meg, I'll let you go first if you want to. Then I'll tap it in from there.
So, Janaya. Elena first met Janaya at school. They were a little bit older. They were at like college level, university level school. They met in what was essentially a political debate course. And essentially, they were both kind of the top of the class, kind of going neck and neck. Elena represented a lot of the traditional old views of the core. She presented a lot of the things that she grew up with, a lot of things that her family drilled into her. And Janaya represented a lot of things that presented the reality of what planets were experiencing outside of the core, or like on the outskirts of it, or coming into it, that showed maybe that things weren't all that great. Things weren't what she thought they were. So Janaya was the real catalyst, or the real representation, and what the person who showed Elena that things weren't what she thought they were. So that was kind of the start of Elena starting to grow as an individual away and starting to develop her own way of thinking and her own thoughts, free of what she was taught by the core and what her family taught her. So she was particularly important in that sense to her. But once she enlisted in the military, and once she deployed, she lost contact with Janaya and didn't communicate with her much after that. Now when they were on Spar, she did use her ID to contact Janaya, but that was technically so Reiji could talk to her.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's kind of what that is. Elena's person of importance.
I guess similarly, talking about like being the reasons for starting arcs, Janaya is the entire reason Reiji was ever in a position where he could be involved in the story to begin with. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. Reiji, and funnily enough, also Tarin, grew up on Christ. It's a Eucumenopolis, so a city planet, and they both grew up in the slum districts of this planet, struggling to get by as best they could. And Janaya was a local woman who would volunteer at a school, and Reiji would keep an eye on, just watching while she walked by, and clearly grew a lot of care for her, to the point where when she was harassed by the son of like an upper shelf noble of some kind, Reiji beat all four of them within an inch of their lives, actually killing one of them. It's the reason why he was arrested and sent off to Spar at 13. So, you know, for those who, I guess, kind of slightly giving away the answer to an earlier question, but for those who watched season 1, watched Frozen Rain, Janaya was all of Reiji's motivation. It was just getting this done so that he could get back to her. And I think when he recognized how much of a threat Unival was, it wasn't even about keeping the galaxy safe, it was about keeping her safe. And he's grown outside of that. He's realized there are so many other people he cares for. Obviously, he loves Sim with all of his fucking heart. And similarly, though he hasn't admitted it yet, he does deeply care for his squad mates. But I think the way I've been playing it narratively in my head is that where before he thought like, okay, we'll deal with this Spar thing and then I'll go find her, realizing now that it's way bigger than that, they have to track down and stop Unival from threatening the whole of the galaxy. Reiji knows that if he keeps letting himself think about the idea of going to find Janaya, he would lose himself in that. Same way he basically almost did on Spar with things like taking the nanites and shit like that. So I think there's a part of him that's just not thinking about it right now, letting himself focus on getting things done, getting the mission done, because I think that he is afraid of getting too worried about where she is and what's happening to her, and that it'll make him not able to focus on anything else. As far as like where that's left him now, think, especially in the aftermath of what's happened with Virtue, I think he's starting to really have to reckon with how temporary bonds can be. Nobody's ever around forever. And I think that's weighing on him really heavily right now, not just in terms of Janaya, but also in terms of plenty of other people. But I think that it might possibly make him think more about that and be a bit concerned about the idea of not only like what could happen to her, but also like if she's worried about him or waiting for him or wanting to know that he's going to be okay, how long it'll have to be while she's in that sorrow, in that turmoil, while he's out here fighting. And maybe he doesn't want that for her. So I think there's a lot of conflicting emotions that he just hasn't really let himself address because there's just been quote unquote bigger fish to fry as far as like, you know, more pressing threats. But I think that that's something that he has to reckon with some point soon. And how that reckoning occurs and what it means, well, I, the GM.
Oh, that's me. No, but one final big one, kind of end us off with. In as few words as possible, how do you see your characters coming into this season, and how do you see them coming out?
Writing it out, 1 second.
All good.
Meg, if you want to go first, you can.
The immediate response is 2 words. Prideful and humbled.
Do you want to speak on that some more?
God, I'm worried about what I'm gonna do with that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, damn, fuck, that's heavy. Holy shit.
That's giving me some fucking anxiety, and I have to be the one to do it. It's like Harry, like unstabbed, stabbed. I'm like, what? Wait. I don't even have
the one who did the stabbing.
If it's any fucking consolation, you probably already done it.
It's fine. Yeah, it's one of those situations where you haven't undone the belt enough to have the wound actually bleed, right? So
yeah.
Oof.
Meg, was there more you wanted to say on that, or?
Not really. That I feel like that is enough.
Yeah, fair.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'll take this slightly less gravitas, unfortunately. But I think of like when we first gathered up for this campaign, which, funnily enough, I actually had myself thinking about not too long ago. When we first gathered up for this campaign, I started making characters. I at first saw Reiji as like, there are 2 parts of Reiji that shifted dramatically, not just because of choices that I made, but because of the other party members. 1, or I guess, no, 3 things really, funnily enough. 1, I saw Reiji as very cold and detached, which unfortunately, not even unfortunately, but like Elena fit that role of like the squad ice queen so well, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm not, like that's, we'll clearly butt heads, but like I don't think that's my character arc, is being the detached one, quote unquote. Although it kind of was in terms of like not wanting to be there and getting drawn in. 2, I thought Reiji was going to be an older soul, like be like one of the older, more veteran members of the team. Leon completely swapped that up by being, well, significantly older than Reiji is, and also having like, you know, that kind of like old soul seen a lot vibe. And I also thought Reiji would be a lot more of like the kind of like MacGyver-esque, like slap shit together, fixer techie type. You know, I was gonna lean more into whole like, I built this damn mech myself, and you know, like that's kind of the thing I really wanted to do. And both Vermin and Turk, you both kind of drew me separately from that. Vermin by playing Sim as this, like, you know, she's our squad's techie, no fucking question. She's our gearhead, absolutely, obviously. But Turk, the way you personified Virtue and the way he built, even in my head as a player, from like slightly comic relief, goofy knight persona that I have to like wrangle with when I'm fighting sometimes, to like the closest thing I have to a best friend, like that completely changed the relationship Reiji had to his mech to me. It wasn't just this thing I built, it was this friend I found. And like that, it totally changed the way Reiji was in my head. And I think between events and what's happened. So originally, I guess when the story finally came together, when we started playing the campaign, I saw Reiji as this incredibly emotionally stunted person, full of feeling and anger and desire and angst, but with no proper way to channel that except for the single focus: get back to this person who I need to get back to. And since then, it's both changed and hasn't. Reiji has, especially right now, still become that well of emotion, that well of like feeling, that need, desire, that anger, that burning fire. But it's now singularly focused, and I mean singularly focused, on killing Yennefer and every other god like her. And I think that shift in focus isn't just a like, oh hey, I'm more on the job now, but to me, Reiji has stopped just being this like, I don't know, scrappy engineer from a prison planet, and has become like a mortal man told that he is the weapon that will kill God, and who is actively going through the very, very painful process of being forged into that weapon. And that's powerful to me, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it's so far from where I originally saw this fucking dude I whipped up, you know? So I guess that's the long-winded answer. Is I used to see Reiji as this fucking scrappy, you know, prison-raised, like engineer kid who just had a fucking chip on his shoulder and a job to get back to a woman he loved, and has since become a mortally tortured man told that he must be the one to give away humanity to bring God down. And I can't wait to see how that changes him.
Yeah. I honestly can't put it better myself. I think the crux of this season for me is to take it, because the goal of my campaign is very akin to the goal of Union with parking the 21st Savage here. It is to take it from its original purpose and make it a hunter-killer. To make it a purpose-driven missile into the heart of the enemy. Whatever shakes off is unimportant. Whatever can't survive the forging process was never meant to be there. And I think you perfectly put it. I think Reiji is really core to that. So I think what's going to be very interesting is Reiji will be made that way earlier than others. And does he become blunted by everyone else around him, or does he harden their edges? And that is where I think a lot of the drama of this next section comes from. Is how do you take a character that has been a kind of glue, in some ways, a connective tissue, a muscle that when one twitches, it responds to another in a different way. When it becomes rigid and uncaring and unmoving and becomes this kind of central point of concern. Totally unlike Reiji, become a central point of concern for some reason or another. No. But I think it's going to be interesting. As everyone is forced to make some very hard decisions.
Yeah, right.
I think this kind of carries through to all my campaigns that I run. Is how do you reckon with becoming what it is that will defeat your enemy? And can you complete that hero's journey? Can you go back, changed but unchanged? Do you get to go back to the Shire and just marry Rosie Cotton? I don't think that's the case for any of our characters, in a terribly tragic way. I don't think any of us get our Rosie Cotton here. I think we just have to keep finding our scourings, and we have to keep pushing until the age is done with us. But enough meditations on conflict and what it does to the human being. I think that is where we are going to call it, though, because we have rattled y'all's ears on and on and on and on and on and on. So I want to thank, firstly, so much y'all for coming out here and asking some excellent questions. If you haven't seen everything we asked, you can, of course, check out the Neon Lights Discord, where in the show chat we posted a bunch of stuff, and of course here in the chat, if you're watching this later, Twitch chat had a bunch of really awesome questions that we've recorded. But yeah, y'all have been fantastic for helping us explore this setting and really giving us a chance to talk about our characters, the campaign, and so much to us. But I'd love to turn it back to our players during the order to introduce yourselves. Tell the people where they can find more of the exceptional work you put out into the world.
That's me. Hey, gang. I'm Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite Fox Philly's finest. I'm all over the internet at Young Foxy. It's YUNGFOXXII with an underscore in the middle sometimes. If you're looking for things that I do, I'm usually all over this little spot right here, Neon Lights Roleplay, where I'm creative director. So you'll see me for all kinds of shows. Most notably, you'll see me this Friday, where it would be an episode of Steel and Arbor, but much like tonight, we are switching it up a little bit. Stay tuned. Other than that, it's been great, and you'll see me with, in fact, these other faces you'll see around me, and some other really cool ones, running some great things right here on the channel. So keep it locked. Hang out in Discord with us. Follow us on socials, and I'll see you guys there. Take it away, Meg.
Hello, I am Meg and/or Meg Mysteria, and you can find me as such on Twitch, on Twitter, on Itch, on Blue Sky. And as far as what's coming up, you can find me next Wednesday back here on Neon Lights Roleplay for Jump City Sirens, where I get to play Mel Dracos, our resident beacon, who is, experiencing some things and maybe getting the lecture of a lifetime. Who knows what's going on? Only Foxy does. Who's
I think I know what's going on? Ha!
I hope somebody knows what's going on, because it sure as shit ain't me. But after that, you'll find me over on Singularity Roleplay, where we will have our next in a couple of weeks. We'll have our next iteration on Fragments of Tomorrow's Apocalypse, our City of Mist campaign, where I'll be playing Renee Webb, our resident gatekeeper, who is our little arachne rift, who has cool powers that manifest with messing with people's minds and stuff. It's pretty cool. But that's about it as far as what's coming up soon. So I will throw it up to our wonderful GM and provider of questions for tonight, Turk.
Yeah, hey, I am Turk, or Turk extended in the big wide world of the internet, in various places that matter and don't matter. Thank y'all for joining us again. If you want to see more of what I do, keep it locked here on Neon Lights Roleplay. That's where all my stuff is right now. In the future, who knows? But probably mostly here, honestly. I'm having too much fun. So, that being said, I run Oathsworn and Fading Chronicle, and it's a blast every single time. We did a QA for Oathsworn, if you want to check that out at some point. I wasn't there for that one, shame, but I assume they had as much fun. Probably more, because I wasn't there. No, I'm joking. That being said, we'll be around, we'll be hanging out, it'll be a great time. Be sure to check in for this next one, because episode 11 is going to be a doozy. It'll be plenty of combat, plenty of drama, plenty of just, ooh boy, so much. That being said, I think at this, I can confidently say, you've all been wonderful tonight. We have all been wonderful tonight. Let's all go be wonderful with our next morning, wherever you are. Stick around for the raid, but thank you again for joining us. We've had a great time. Hopefully you have as well. FoXXii, please take us out.
Good night, gang.